Looking for help for a dynasty football league, a normal NFL fantasy football league, or just a normal football fan and excited for the NFL draft? Well, here we go. We're starting our NFL scouting reports today. Let's get this thing going. A lot of information in this video. We're going to have little tiny chapters and sections that you guys can click around in the comment sections if you guys don't want to watch the entire video. But if you're interested in dynasty football or just a normal football league, or again, just a simple football fan and excited because you think your team's going to draft some of these players, be sure to stay tuned. The series starts today. We got a lot to discuss. And again, you're going to want to watch the entire video for the best analysis possible. But if not, and you want to skip around for certain players that you may be interested in drafting in, be sure to check the comment section and click to the guy that you want to see. Let's hop right into this thing.
180. 180, set.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Nick from Untitled Sports. Today we're over the 2023 NFL linebacker scouting analysis. It's a 2023 NFL draft. We're about 20 days and less away from this thing. But there's not too many linebackers that made my top 200 this year. You know, overall players, 200, 250 that I scouted. You know, there's only nine guys that were on my board that I actually ended up scouting as so far, in this series. And again, you'll see some guys probably added to the final report. You know, when I've come out with my final rankings, you might see another guy or two that might have not scouted already. But again, these are the big name guys, the guys that got a lot of hype throughout the year. And, again, I scouted them. And again, I got some shockers in here for sure. My final rankings, there's some shocking things in there. I got some guys definitely higher and some guys lower than the other analysts. But again, what makes me, pull away in a good and bad thing, where I've hit on some guys, especially the quarterback position, running back position, some corners. I wasn't a huge fan of someone like Jeff Okudah when everyone else was, but then I hit on like AJ Terrell and Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, the quarterback. So, I have my hits and misses. And again, the linebacker position, I haven't been phenomenal, I'll be honest with you. But one guy, in particular, I thought the Lions should have drafted Isaiah Simmons over Jeff Okudah coming out of that draft class. And I go back and I think about it now, and I'm like, hell, you know what? If they drafted Isaiah Simmons right now, I know now they got Malcolm Rodriguez and they got a few other guys, but still, if they drafted Isaiah Simmons that year, that would have been their centerpiece. And I said it then too. Go back, watch the 2020 video where I select, Isaiah Simmons there. And I give him my reason why. Because Isaiah Simmons could have been the centerpiece of that defense. Linebackers are very important. Some teams ignore them, and it works out. But again, most teams, most old school teams, and most, if you just want to compete, you got to have a good linebacking core. So let's get into this thing again. You can check out specific guys if you just want to check out one guy because your team already drafted a guy, or if it's before the draft, you want to check out a few guys, you're more than welcome to click around. We got timestamps and stuff ready for you to go. All right, let's get this thing going. All right, here are my 2023 linebacker prospects. And again, there's only 3 sheets of notes. This is going to be a pretty quick video, 9 guys to go over. I'll give you my breakdown and my rankings at the very end. Here's my track record, okay? This is excluding injury bust. Now, again, I'm going to, pre-warn you guys, on everybody here, all right? So I'm going to give you a little fair warning here on some of these guys, And again, I know right away everyone's going to look at 2021, but let's start with 2019. Devin White, I still think he was the best. Devin Bush, Mack Wilson, TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards deserves to probably be number 2 now. Devin Bush looked great until he tore his ACL. That's something that I can't really predict there. That was going to, flutter his career downwards. TJ Edwards definitely probably all around. I think everyone would argue probably better than Mack Wilson. But Devin White was for sure the number 1. Most people argue that he was number 1. Some people had Devin Bush higher. I disagreed. Devin White was my guy, and that was correct, okay? TJ Edwards, though, definitely lower than he should have been. That's on me. 2020, Isaiah Simmons 1, Kenneth Murray 2, Patrick Queen 3, Troy Dye 4. Isaiah Simmons 1, Still stand by that decision. Kenneth Murray, too, as a prospect, I still stand by that decision. I'm going to be honest with you. We'll have to wait and see what ultimately happens with these guys. But to me, Kenneth Murray is a guy that I like. It's terrible that the Chargers aren't using him. And, Patrick Queen's a guy that played pretty good his rookie year, but kind of fallen off a little bit in the last few years. Troy Dye, again, probably deserves to be 4. And most people argue Patrick Queen's better than Murray. I just hope Murray goes somewhere else to prove himself. 2021. All right, here we go. Oh, boy. Here we go. People trying to come here with pitchforks and torches, trying to get at me here. Oh, my God. You had Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah over Micah Parsons. Are you nuts? Are you crazy? What's the position I am grading here? Linebackers. Linebackers. I want to repeat, linebackers. Micah Parsons is an edge rusher. He was listed as a linebacker. I watched his linebacker tape. I watched some edge rusher tape. But mainly I watched him as a linebacker, and I still stand by my decision. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is a better linebacker coming out of college. Micah Parsons is a better football player. Micah Parsons is a better edge rusher. Micah Parsons is more versatile. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is a better NFL today linebacker. What do you need to do in today's NFL? Well, let's see. As a linebacker, you got to cover. Owusu-Koramoah can cover. Parsons, iffy. He relies strictly on his athleticism. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah can lay the boom. Micah Parsons can hit too, don't get me wrong. Micah Parsons is a guy that's around the line of scrimmage, and he's playing off that edge. Owusu-Koramoah is a true linebacker. I even put Parsons too. That was really a high for, a true linebacker. I like to grade personally true linebacker. If you're an edge rusher, I'll say that in the tape. I'll say, you play a little bit of the edge. But I can't grade you number 1 at the linebacker position if you're really an edge rusher, okay? They're 2 different positions. So Micah Parsons, yes, was my number 2 at the linebacker position. Doesn't mean that he was worse than Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah as a player. Just means that he's not as good as a linebacker, and I still stand by that decision. Zaven Collins, I thought he was going to be better than he's been so far. We'll wait and see. Jamin Davis was a guy I thought was going to be better. Pete Werner, I loved Pete Werner. I don't care what nobody says. Pete Werner was most people's consensus like 12, 13. He was my 5, okay? A lot higher than everybody else. I want to point that out. Now people say, oh, he should have been 3. Oh, Pete Werner should have been 4, blah, 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 blah. Pete Werner, I want to continue to say it, was so low on most people's boards. Nick Bolin, another guy I had ranked high, number 6. People had him around 9, 10. They had him a little bit lower. I was high on Nick Bolin. Most people were low. Now people are going to say, oh, he should have been 2, he should have been 3. I wish people would show their track record like I do. Because boy, oh boy, would you see how low people had these guys ranked. Baron Browning, like Baron Browning a lot too coming out of college. Monty Rice, Justin, Hilliard, Jabril Cox had all the potential in the world. Big, fast guy. Wasn't a huge fan of his. I don't know actually how he's been panning out. He was a guy like top 3, 4 on most people's boards. I had him at 10. So again, I don't really know how he's been making out, but maybe someone can let me know. Cameron McGrone, not too high. Chaz Surratt, not too high. All right, last year. Here we go again. Here we go. People are going to be banging on my door. Nakobe Dean 1. This guy was the consensus top 2, top 3 guy. It was Devin Lloyd 1. Then it was really usually Nakobe Dean 2. I don't know how he fell down the board. No one really knew. Everyone was shocked when he fell all the way to the 3rd round to the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a little bit smaller, but man, his tape was great. And if they actually play him this year, which I feel like they're going to because they lost TJ Edwards, the guy can be a stud in my opinion. So we'll see. So, the jury's still out on that one. Quay Walker, most people's consensus like 4 or 5 guy. My number 2. His size, his speed, his athleticism, boy, oh boy, he was my number 2. I was almost going to put him at 1, but I thought it would have been a little bit too crazy if I put him at 1. Nobody had this guy in the top 2. Devin Lloyd 3. I like Devin Lloyd. Didn't love Devin Lloyd. Okay, so he was my number 3. Christian Harris, liked his cover skills. Needs to work on some other things. Channing Tindall 5. Brian Asamoah 6. Leo Chenal 7. Chad Muma 8. I actually like Chad Muma. Go back and watch it again. Most people had him lower than I did. I had him pretty high. JoJo Doman on the Colts, I believe. Damon Clark, Brandon Smith, Troy Anderson, Darian Beavers, Terrell Bernard. Okay, so there are my top 14 from last year. Katie Ariame, give me a grade. In 2019, I'll probably give myself a B. 2020, B. 2021, I'm going to be honest with you. I know everyone's going to say, you missed on the first one. But again, purely as a linebacker, I know people would say now Nick Bolton. But and I agree with that. Nick Bolton probably should have been one. But for me, honestly, rating him higher than most people had him, rating people one or higher than most people had him, I give myself a B plus for 2021. Although I didn't get the order right, I was high on those guys and nobody else really was. 2022, the jury's still out on that one. We'll have to wait and see. Here is our grade scale, okay? How do I grade linebackers? In-game speed, their run coverage, their pass coverage, their hit power, their awareness, their reaction, and their tackling. And this is after my complete analysis after film study and the combine. Let's hop right into this thing. Here's the first guy, Drew Sanders, earned a 76 as a grade. That means he earned 76% of the possible points being able to be earned. A lot better. That's a really good grade. Everyone's thinks Madden grades with this stuff. No. 76 means that he earned probably right around a B to a B plus, or maybe even higher, maybe even an A minus, B plus to A minus in almost every single category, besides maybe one or two, maybe he earned a little bit lower. So he earned 76% of the possible points. 100 means you earned A pluses across the board. Nobody's ever been 100. I don't even know if anyone ever earned a 90 on my grade scale, okay? So maybe a lineman, offensive lineman or something, but no linebacker really has, been rated this really crazily high. All right, what are his notes? 6'4", 235. He did not run a 40. This guy seems like he has a great burst of acceleration as soon as a ball is thrown or he sees a running back gets the ball in his hands. He flies around the field when he recognizes what is going on. He has great reaction speed and great awareness. He can absolutely lay the boom and has some of the best hit power I have seen in a while. He's also very good in zone coverage, but I would not recommend him in man unless he runs a really good 40 time. Now, again, he didn't run a 40 time, so again, I just don't know if he has a pure speed. I don't know if he has that elite level speed you need at the next level. This guy is going to be one of the best normal interior linebackers that can hunt down the running back or play zone coverage very well. He's also good at blitzing and playing quarterback spies. All right, so what's about this guy? Again, I'm not saying he's the best player in this draft class. I'm not saying he's the best guy that's listed as a linebacker. I'm saying in my tape right now, off the grade scale, he is the best. He checks the most boxes for a true linebacker. And again, I'll give him my personal analysis at the end if whether or not he ranks number one or not. But again, this guy, according to the notes, is a guy that plays inside linebacker and can play it well. He doesn't play the edge, is what I'm trying to say. He might play outside linebacker, but he's not going to be blitzing off the edge. He is a true stand-up linebacker, okay, that can cover and can come up and stop the run. So what are his strengths here? Great bursts of speed, good acceleration, reaction speed's quick, awareness, he can lay the boom, good hip power, basically the same stuff. Zone coverage is very good, blitzing, and QB spy. This guy right here, nasty player. Tear you to the ground if he wants to. I like him a lot. I think he could be a hell of a player. I'll go over my other stuff. My final rank is at the end. But again, when you look at weaknesses here, there are no weaknesses. There's a lot in between, but there's no weaknesses, only strengths. Here's his breakdown. I'm not going to show you all these, but take a look. Let me know what you think. Here's the next guy, Trenton Simpson, earned a 74 as a grade. 6'2", 235, and a 4.43. Damn, that is fast, okay? Let's see what his notes are. This kid may be one of the most versatile linebackers in this draft class. He can be used in coverage, blitz the A-gaps, or even be used on the edge. This shows that with a good defensive coordinator, they can utilize him in a variety of ways. He is a good quarterback spy because he has the speed to hunt down the quarterback. He shows great hit power on occasion. He does a good job tracking down the running back from the opposite side of the field while lining up on the edge. He can rush off the edge or blitz the A-gap. I do not love him being a pure edge rusher because I do not know if he's capable of getting to the quarterback consistently at the next level, although he is a good run defender. I love when he blitzes. I truly do. Again, blitzing, he's good off the edge. I wouldn't necessarily say that he is a good, edge rusher. He's a guy that can rush off the edge. That doesn't mean he's a good edge rusher. Two different things here. He also does a good job containing on the edge. The one knock I have on him is that he does a lot of everything on his film, but I would not categorize him as elite in anything. I wanted to see him playing interior linebacker a little more and dropping into coverage more often, but there was not a lot of that on tape. He lined up in the slot a lot, and, this is a guy that I consider a jack of many trades right now, but a master at none. I think with good coaching, he could be great. So again, what are his strengths here? Well, He has that good speed. Okay, I'm going to continue to say it. 4.43. That's fast as hell. Say it with me. Fast as hell. Okay, versatility. Yeah, he's versatile. He can do a little bit of everything. Okay, he's a jack of all trades. He's a good QB spy. He tracks down running backs. Good at rushing off the edge. He's not an edge rusher, and he's good at blitzing. Okay, weaknesses. He's a master of nothing. Okay, jack of all trades, master of nothing. He may need a defensive coordinator to maximize his abilities. Most people need a defensive coordinator to maximize your abilities. But again, I'm going to stress, he can do everything. So if you want this guy to live up to his full potential, his full hype, well, you may need a defensive coordinator that can get this guy doing a little bit of everything. Here's his breakdown. You're more than welcome to take a look at that. Here's the next guy, DeMarvion Overshown, 6'3", 229, 4'5", 640. Okay, a little bit taller, not as heavy, a little bit slower than Trenton Simpson. Okay, what are his notes? This kid is going to be special. He's a bigger linebacker. Again, this was my notes on film. Found out that he really wasn't that big. I mean, he's 6'3", decent height, not, heavy, like 235, 240 like the other guys. He's a bigger linebacker that loves to blitz the A-gap. When there's a lane, he flies in like a missile to take out the quarterback. Not only does he fly, but he can also lay the boom. He is also great in zone pass coverage and has great flexibility to break up passes being thrown his way. He is a ball hawk because he has good hands for a linebacker. He does a great job creeping into passing lanes and picking off the football. I like his tape a lot, okay? So what does he do? Good job blitzing the A-gaps, fills in lanes, okay, and like a missile. Fills in lanes like a missile. Comes up, lays the boom. Good in zone coverage, has flexibility to get a hand on a ball that he probably shouldn't be able to get to, but he lays out and gets a hand on it. Good ball hawking ability, has really good hands for a linebacker, and lurks the passing lanes. A lot of in-betweens, not many weaknesses. None. Okay, I can't list anything as a weakness that I watched specifically. Here's his breakdown. You're more than welcome to take a look at that. Here's the next guy, Owen Pappoe. Earned a 70 as a grade. 6 foot, 225, 439, 40. Tell me that ain't fast. 439, 40. 6 foot, 225. Slightly undersized, right? Most linebackers here have been 6'3", 235. 225 now. That's right around DeMarvion Overshown, about 4 or 5 pounds lighter than him. So this may be, I think this actually is, out of all the guys that officially measured, he is the lightest and the smallest linebacker. Okay, but that doesn't mean much. Let's see what his tape says. So let's see what I got here. This kid is fast and can pursue the running back, wide receiver, tight end, or quarterback down the field. He does a good job in both the run and pass coverage, and he can lay aggressive hits on players when the opportunity presents itself. So he doesn't do it all the time, but he does do it on occasion. He is not a pass rusher, but he can blitz off the edge. Same thing. There it is again. He's a guy that can blitz off the edge, but he's not a pass rusher or an edge rusher. I wish he would read and react to plays faster, but he is still good enough in that category to where I would say he is average. The one knock is his normal form tackling. He doesn't form tackle the greatest. I want to see guys have really good form tackling. He doesn't have really good form tackling. It's just an honest truth. So, although he doesn't have great form tackling, he usually gets the job done. But again, this is a question for concern at the next level. What are his strengths? Good speed, 4.39, 40, sold on tape. Pursuits downfield well. Good run coverage. Good pass coverage. Aggressive. And he can blitz off the edge. Weaknesses, he's undersized, 6 foot 225. I would see him at least another inch or two taller for my prototypical linebacker. Maybe another 5 to 10 pounds heavier at the very least. So slightly undersized, but again, that's not always a knock. And form tackling. It's not the greatest. He gets the job done, but it's definitely not the greatest. Here's his breakdown. You're more than welcome to take a look at that. Here's the next guy, Mohamoud Diabate. Unofficial. This is unofficial here. The measurements are unofficial. I want to make that clear. Okay, he didn't actually officially weigh in and do measurements. 6'4", 229 unofficially, did not run a 40. 6'4", 229, did not run a 40 unofficially. Here's his notes. This kid was fun to watch on film because you can tell he wants to play the game of football. First, he can play inside or on the edge, but the only knock on his film was that he was not asked to drop into coverage often. He is a great run-stuffing linebacker that I believe has the physical ability to be fine in his own scheme. He has a great burst of acceleration to meet the running back in the hole. When he reads the play, He can absolutely deliver a nice boom to the ball carrier. He has some of the best pursuit and tracking speed I have seen in a while. I mean, this guy can be, I believe, a sideline to sideline linebacker. He will and is able to track down and chase players on the opposite side of the field. He has a good rip move around the outside, but occasionally tries to take a wide loop around the tackle in order to beat them with speed. Overall, this kid has some of the best potential in the draft class. I would love to coach him because I think he has all the tools needed to succeed at the next level. Going to be interesting to see, where the coach plays him and, see what they're able to possibly do with him. He is capable of getting to the quarterback, but I would prefer him to be a sideline to sideline run stuffer. Okay, what are his strengths? You can tell on his tape he loves football. Okay, he's an inside linebacker, or you can line him up on the edge. Okay, you can do a little bit of both. Okay, he's a run stuffing linebacker. He plays with great bursts of speed. He fills in holes properly. He has great pursuit. He has good tracking speed. And he has a good rip move around the outside. Weaknesses, no official measurements. I don't know how tall, how fast, how long he is. I have no idea. And I didn't really see him drop into coverage often. But again, the whole thing about the dropping into coverage thing is, yeah, I didn't see it often. But again, I think with his athleticism, I think in a zone scheme, if he just had to play a certain assignment, I think he would do just fine in that. But again, he didn't do it often. Here's his notes. You're more than welcome to take a look at that. All right, here's the next guy. Jack Campbell earned a 67 as a grade. 6'5", 249, 4.65 40. Big guy. 6'5", 249. That's basically 250. Okay, 250 basically. But it's 249. Okay, 6'5", big guy. Didn't run a great 40 though. 4.65. Now again, for his size, that's not horrible. But again, to me, 4.65 is not the fastest. He's a guy, I would like to see him run a 4.58, 4.57, 4.55. I mean, hell, there's guys that are big now that can run fast, Look at Darnell Washington at the tight end position, for crying out loud. Can this guy keep up with someone like him? I don't know, but again, pure speed-wise, 40-wise. But again, let's see his notes and see how that compares. This kid can do a little bit of everything. First, he's a large guy on tape. He does a great job in zone coverage as he watches the quarterback's eyes and has great flexibility to get to and deflect balls when they're thrown in his area. He can also be a great downhill run stuffer, kind of a linebacker. He does a good job filling lanes in quickly. He is a good blitzer and, a very hard hitter. So again, I just tell you there, I mean, yeah, he might not have the straight line speed to, run man to man with like someone that's really fast tight end wise, like a Darren Waller or maybe a Darnell Washington, et cetera, et cetera. But you put him in a zone, you tell him hit him when they come into your zone. This guy can do that just fine. 6'5", 249. He's a big guy, right? Big guy. Good in zone coverage. Great flexibility. Can get a handle on plays. Downhill run stuffer. Filling in lanes properly. He's a good blitzer and he's a heavy hitter. Weaknesses, lacks elite speed. Again, this was just overemphasized when he ran that 4.65 40. We'll wait and see. Maybe he runs a pro day and runs a little bit better. Here's his breakdown. You're more than want to take a look at that. Here's the next guy, Daiyan Henley, earned a 67 as a grade. 6'2", 225, 4.54. Okay, 6'2", 225, 4.54. Okay, so again, 225. I believe that's right around Owen Pappoe, right? Or Pappoe. Pappoe's 225. Yeah, Henley's 225. But, this guy's a lot slower than Pappoe, but also 2 inches taller than Pappoe. So again, yes, some pros, yes, some cons, just pure physically. But this guy, look at this, man. Built like a brick, honestly. Look at that. So let's see what we see on his notes. This kid could be special, but there are a few things he needs to fix up first. He needs to do a better job reading the play originally because he has great reaction speed. I want to reiterate, has great reaction speed. But what did I say? He needs to do a better job reading the play. He seems quick enough to stop any play an offense runs, but he needs to recognize the play a little sooner. Ladies and gentlemen, if he can match that up, if he can get play recognition, with his reaction speed and time, oh my God, this guy can hit the player before the ball even gets there. Timing up well, you don't want to get a PI, but oh my God, I mean, run plays and everything, oh my God. I mean, this guy could be special if he can, build his play recognition. He also needs to clean up some of his tackles because he lacks form. He does a great job playing with physicality and is able to get into the backfield by using moves or tossing down linemen. He's great at filling in a hole very quickly once he recognizes a play. He also does a good job in coverage and sticking with his guy in zones. He has great enough, I shouldn't say great enough. He has good enough speed to stick with tight ends and even some receivers. He is a typical interior linebacker that is going to play the position properly. He can be special if he can clean up his game. So I do mention he can cover some wide receivers. On tape, he could cover some wide receivers. He's not going to cover a Tyreek Hill, not going to cover a Jalen Waddle, an Elijah Moore, one of those type guys, one of those small, quick, nifty, guys, but most cornerbacks can't cover all those guys easily. So again, but this guy can stick with some wide receivers. Strengths, great reaction speed, very quick, plays physically, tosses down linemen to the ground, fills in holes, good in zone covers. Weaknesses, play recognition, and form tackling, not the greatest. Here's his breakdown. You're more than to take a look at that. Here's the next guy, Henry To'oTo'o, earned a 64 as a grade. 6'1", 227, 4.62, 40. This kid's an old school run stuffing linebacker. He's going to be playing downhill and filling his gaps. He does a good job staying square to the ball carrier, which is why I left his tackle grade decently high. But there are times that he does not wrap up as well as he should have. So again, he stays square. So on the grade scale, I count staying square as something like part of the tackling grade, because where else are you going to put it? Okay. But then again, his form tackling wasn't the greatest. So, his tackling grade would have been really good if his form tackling was great because he stays square. But since one was good and one was bad, I kept it at an average grade. But I just want to show you that specifically, one's a strength. He stays square. The other one's a flaw. The form tackling is not really the greatest. All right. He does a good job reading and reacting to screen passes. He's going to be a run stuffer, quarterback spy, and a blitzing linebacker. He's an interior linebacker, but I do not know if teams will want to use him in coverage, as he had very limited snaps in coverage. I want to repeat, I do not know if he is good in coverage because of his lack of snaps in coverage. Now, again, in today's NFL, that's a huge thing. You got to be able to cover to be a pure linebacker. If you want to be an edge rusher, a linebacking edge rusher, hybrid, one of those hybrid guys, that's definitely possible. I'm not saying that he can't do that. But again, I'm grading pure linebackers. So again, if I'm scouting for linebackers, if I want to be a team, in my final rankings, I'm telling you this, I need a pure interior linebacker. Okay, that's what I'm basing it off of. And again, if I'm a guy that wants a versatile guy that can rush off the edge, this might be my guy. This might be my first pick, for the love of God. He's not my first pick. I'll probably go with Trenton Simpson over him. But again, this would be one of those guys. What are his weaknesses? He lacks elite speed. You're in a 4.6, 240. Form tackling wasn't the greatest, and lack of coverage snaps. Here's his breakdown. You're more than willing to take a look at that. And here's the last guy, Noah Sewell, earned a 64 as a grade. 6'1", 246, ran a 4.6, 4.40. This kid is one of those guys that will play his role within the defense. Will he make plays? Yes. Will he be overly flashy? No. But coaches are going to love him for this. He's good at shuffling over and filling in the running lanes. He does a good job in zone, drifting into passing lanes and hawking the ball when he is asked to. He does a good job blitzing, but can also show blitz and back into coverage or quarterback spies. When he is in a quarterback spy, at times when he decides to go after the quarterback, he hesitates too long, even after he has left his zone responsibility. So sometimes you are in a zone or you're playing QB spy and you're in that no man's land. You either got to stay in your zone or you got to go after the quarterback. You got to pick and choose one. You can't stay in the middle in no man's land because it does nothing. He hesitates sometimes. Choose one, go full throttle. So that's that. What else do we got to say here? I would like to see him personally go full throttle at that point. Don't hesitate. Just fly. Either go into your zone or shoot down at the quarterback. He does a good job at shedding blocks, but also a good job at getting hands up to deflect passes at the line of scrimmage. He can rush off the edge and actually has a decent bend, but he does this very rarely. Overall, he's an interior linebacker that can do a little bit of everything. Okay, so that's Noah Sewell. What are his strengths? Plays his role, filling in run lane, blitzing, QB spies, shed blocks, rushes off the edge. Weaknesses, lacks elite speed, ran a 4.6, 4.40, hesitates at times. I don't like to see that. Full throttle would be much better. Leave zones at times, again, in that no man's land. They'll just kind of stand there and leave his own responsibility or step down too prematurely, allowing the quarterback to throw right over his head. Tough position, but again, I want to see you make the right decision sometimes. And reaction speed, not the greatest either. Here's his breakdown. You're more than want to take a look at that. Here's my 2023 linebacker rankings according to the grade scale. This is the order that you just saw the guys in according to the grade scale. This is where they rank. Drew Sanders 1, Simpson 2, Overshown 3, Pappoe 4, Diabate 5, Campbell 6, Henley 7, Toto 8, 9 is Sewell. Okay, there's my top 9 in that order according to what is their grade scale, according to the non-biased grade scale. You get a grade, that's what gives you the grade. Here's my 2023 draft compared to my 2022 rankings via grades using the last year's scale. Okay, so now this is taking grade scale versus grade scale, putting them on the same platter and seeing who got graded higher. Drew Sanders is the number 1 ranked guy of the last 2 years. Then goes Trenton Simpson, then Nakobe Dean, Christian Harris, DeMarvion Overshown, JoJo Domann, Channing Tindall, Brian Asamoah, Owen Pappoe, Quay Walker. Again, I was very high on Quay Walker. My grade scale was not so high on him. Diabate 11, Lloyd 12, Smith 13, Muma, Anderson, Campbell, Henley. This is all according to my grade scale, not my personal analysis. Here's according to my personal analysis. 2023 draft compared to 2022 rankings via my personal analysis. Okay. What do we got? Drew Sanders is my number 1 linebacker out of the last 2 years of the draft class. Maybe something changes. Right now, he's my number 1. Trenton Simpson is my number 2. Nakobe Dean is my number 3. Quay Walker, my number 4. Jack Campbell, 5. Lloyd, 6. Harris, 7. Overshawn, 8. Diabate, 9. Tindall, 10. Asamoah, 11. Henley, 12. Pappoe, 13. Channel 14, Muma 15, Sewell 16, Toto 17, Domann 18, Clark 19, Smith 20, Anderson 21, Beavers 22, Bernard 23, Brooks 24, Josh Ross 25. Okay, that's my list there. Here's my 2023 linebacker rankings via my personal analysis. This is just these guys on a silver platter for you. This is the moment everyone waits for. What's my ranking? Well, again, I want to make this clear here, ladies and gentlemen, before you rip into me. Maybe you're looking back 5 years from now, trying to knock me for this. I am grading these guys as if they're all playing linebacker, not edge rusher. Trenton Simpson, flash warning, is a better player. He reminds me of Micah Parsons compared to Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. But as a pure linebacker, I am taking Drew Sanders. Just like how I would have took Owusu-Koramoah. That doesn't mean Sanders is a better football player. It just means he's a better linebacker. Not an edge rusher. Not a versatile edge rushing linebacker hybrid. But pure linebacker. Run stuffing and coverage nowadays. Drew Sanders, way better in those 2 categories in my opinion. Trenton Simpson's number 2. Better football player, I believe. Not a better linebacker. Jack Campbell 3, DeMarvion Overshown 4, Diabate 5, Henley 6, Pappoe 7, Sewell 8, Toto 9. Okay, now I'm going to go back, talk to all of you guys, and let you know my insight a little bit more and answer some fan questions. All right, I am back. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about every single linebacker that I scouted in the draft class. Again, last year I think I scouted like 15 or 20, but again, there just wasn't too many this year linebackers that they grade high, very, very high. That made my list at the beginning of the year that, gives me my draft board. So again, let me know what you guys think. But again, I want to make this clear. The biggest question is this. Nick, Trenton Simpson, he's one of those guys again, is he going to be special? He could be a very, very good edge rusher, linebacker hybrid. Not an edge rusher. Not a linebacker, a guy that's going to use a little bit of both. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, let me think of a guy for an example off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. Like, you got some defenses that drop their DNs, edge rushers into cover sometimes. And sometimes they line up on the edge and they just drop right into coverage and play that linebacker role. That's probably something Trenton Simpson we should probably be in. Could he convert to a pure linebacker? Yes. It's going to take work, though. I don't think he's as polished as someone like Drew Sanders. And I can just keep going on and on and on. As an edge rusher, though, he's definitely better than some of these other guys. So, again, as a pure edge rushing, if you want a versatile guy that can rush off the edge and play linebacker, Trenton Simpson's your number 1 guy. But if you want a pure linebacker, just play linebacker, you don't like to get fancy, Drew Sanders is your guy. Drew Sanders, I fell in love with Drew Sanders right when I turned on his tape, man. I don't know much about him. I don't know how fast he runs, 40 time-wise. I don't really give a rat's ass. I mean, I saw him on tape. He's pretty dang good. So, again, my guy this year is Drew Sanders. I got a few other guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below so I can answer your questions directly. Again, we got cornerbacks and safeties coming soon. Remember, Saturday, April 15th, 4 p.m. Eastern, Top Notch Sports on this channel. We're going to be doing a live 32 GM content creator mock draft at 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you guys there. See you guys soon. We got a lot more coming, a lot more content, cornerbacks, safeties, and then we are done with the series. See you guys soon. Peace. We are Built Better.